Good morning. I'm making this video for my history and the history of the house. I'm also making the video for any new buyer or prospective buyer who's interested. I'm doing probably a $500 to $1,000 job here right now to pay somebody else to do it. Especially if I was a widow who didn't have physical skills or mechanical skills, and really she understood the concept but she didn't know how to fix it. She had to hire somebody. I figure I'm saving about $500 or $600 maybe in labor. It's going to take me a lot longer, and I'm going to do it right because this is my house. But now we'll take the camera and I'll show you what I'm into. This valve has been failing. It took a while to finally fail for good. I was able to limp along with it for about a year and a half. But what happens with that valve is it sticks open. When the watering cycle is done, like I have a half an hour in the morning and a half an hour in the evening, when that cycle was done, especially when we're up over 115, when we get up around 115, for some reason the water's so hot in the ground, it's so warm in the ground that it causes that valve to misfunction. But I used to be able to, you see that plumbing? That I've been told that big round thing is a check valve. It's a backflow valve or a check valve. And you can see I've had to turn off this valve. It's off now because for the last 4 or 5 days I've had to turn it on and off, because when the watering cycle is done, or no matter, you can turn off the box, you can turn off the controller, that valve is stuck open. And it's about 20 years old. It was put in about 20 years ago, 19 years ago. So, and it's had 18 years of use. The house was empty maybe 3 or 4 times in that 18 years, where it spent probably a total of 3, maybe 4 years empty out of that 18 years. And then the person who lived here was very light. Only one person. She had nothing to do with the watering. But anyway, it's finally failed. I had 3 houses here, the 2 next to this one. I had trouble with those valves right from the, it seemed like 10 years or whatever. But I'll show you the work area I'm in. I have to excavate from that valve back about 1.5 feet, 18 inches. I have to get below the valve at least 4 inches. I have to excavate that whole area. And I'll take a picture of it after I'm done, but this is a before. And this is to show the new owner the blood, sweat, and tears. This is a typical deal I've been into in this house since I've been here. And I want to show you the new valve. That's the new valve right there. It was only $22. What a steal. But that valve right here, alright, they don't make it anymore. It's obsolete. They don't make a kit for it. You can't buy it. And yesterday I went in, and that valve there, the guy says they're not interchangeable. You have to have the right one. I had a choice of 2. I let him pick what he thought was the best one. Reliability is more than anything. That's a $22 valve, and I'm spending 2 days of labor, maybe even more, trying to replace it. But here's some of the items I got. I'm going to be on my hands and knees on that knee pad for probably the next 3 or 4 hours with a shovel. I've already excavated, and to try to keep the area clear of dirt, I've already taken this much dirt out. I got this wheelbarrow so I can take all this dirt out. Because I'm working in such a small space here that I don't have a lot of room to work with, so I got to keep it clear all the time. And like I said, I've got to go back probably 18 inches, and it eventually transitions about a foot from that valve, or 16 inches. It finally transitions into the black plastic 1/2 inch Builder's Special line, the water lines that feed the emitters. And that goes. That you can have aneurysms with that. If you come out and you got a puddle, they get hairline cracks on them, or maybe when they were installed, somebody bent them, and where it got bent, it took 15 years, but it finally failed, and it had an aneurysm. I don't like it, but I don't have time right now to dig up all that old black plastic and put in PVC. I did that on the other 2 houses. Before I sold the one house 2 years ago, I did that whole job. I replaced everything right from the box. I'd love to do it here, but it's a lot of work. I'll close for now. I'll turn this thing on when I get a little farther in the excavation, but I've got to get it cleared where I can spin that valve off. That valve screws off. I have to cut it. I have to come back here and cut it somewhere so that it'll spin, because I can't spin the house. It's going to spin off on that end over there, and I have to cut it on this end. Okay, the outgoing end. And the same thing putting it in. That's why I have to have so much room, because it's a somersault, acrobat, whatever you want to call it, to try to get this thing back in and lined up, secure with the water line. But like I said, this is for my history. This is for the new owner's history. I just want to show you. This is a typical deal I've been into for the last 18, 19 years since I've been living here. Okay, I hope you can hear me. I'm zooming in on the valve. I worked for about an hour and a half, 2 hours this morning, but when the sun got up high enough to where it was shining between the houses, I stopped. It's now about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun has passed, and this is the mess I made this morning. All this has to be excavated out to get to that valve, because that valve is that new valve right there. The length, I'll try to show you the length from there to there. You can see my hands. I got to back up. Let's see. This new valve, this length from my thumb to there to my finger is the radius that I have to clear. I might be able to unscrew that solenoid, but I might be able to unscrew the solenoid to give more clearance, but I really don't want to mess with it. And to try to explain now back to the hole, you see the valve. We got to excavate. I'm going to excavate the pipe all around here, all the way back, and I'll try to brush to show you right now. You see that intersection? Let's see, am I on it yet? Where is it? That intersection. That's where the tubing, it tees off. That blue is where it goes into, that's all got to be excavated. And I got to go down, I have to go down at least 5 inches underneath where the valve is. All that has to be excavated out so that I can turn off, I can spin off the old valve and work with the new one. And the new one has to be turned on. It has to be screwed on. So I have to have about 4 inches of clearance down below everything. And it's a mess. I'm getting tired of dealing with it. But I got somebody coming over. This is a 2-day project at least, to excavate everything out and uncover it and change the valve, and then to fill everything back in. It's 2 days with a helper. My helper's coming over, but I'm just updating the video right now. I'll stop. I got a lot of prep work to do here before we I gotta move that big piece of cement. I'm gonna take all this dirt and even more. This dirt that's in here, the dirt that's there, the dirt here, and the dirt that's gonna come out, and the air conditioning just kicked on. So I'm going to end this, but all this dirt has to be sifted before it goes back in. I'm going to sift it, get the sand out of it, pack the sand in around the valve or around the thing, and all the top rock I have to recover. So I've got, anything I take out of here is going to be sifted and separated and classified. Okay? That's why it's going to be a day, a couple of days, even more. And that's why I need a helper. It's too much for somebody like me. Alright? I got too many miles on me. But I'll get somebody in here that's younger, stronger. But it's in the afternoon. 3 in the afternoon. It's the 8th of September 2023. And I want a little bit for the HOA. You got like over $30,000 of lien against me at $100 a day. I should just forget about this. Let all the plants die and everything else. But I'm not. And I'm being transparent with you. I'm doing everything I can so that whoever gets this house, if I sell it or it gets foreclosed on, the house is going to be, I take pride in my work. Alright? That's for you, Caroline. I'm not targeting you out. It's just you're the conduit that I have to go through. Nobody on the board will talk to me, and it's your job to talk to me. All you do is send me letters and you hang up on me on the phone after kicking me out of the HOA. Thought I'd add that. Just a little flavor to this video. Okay, thank you. Bye. There it is. Finished installation. It turns on. I'm testing it. It's making a rattling noise. Maybe it has to get purged. But there it is. It's in. 1 day. I got very lucky. I didn't have to cut anything. Everything unscrewed. Right there, that joint, that where that blue is, that rotated. Everything worked. But I don't understand the rattling. You hear that rattling? I don't know if that's good or bad. But it's working. I hope it shuts off. I got it set for 10 minutes.